Hey guys, this is a quick video in which I want to talk about the basic information you need to configure a DHCP server. So, as you've learned from the textbook, a DHCP server is a server on your subnetwork that hands out IP addresses to clients. This keeps you from having to assign by hand an IP address to each of the computers on your subnetwork. Now, the DHCP server needs some basic information in order to configure it, and I've brought up my home router here on the left that shows you what that information might be. So, for example, on my router, I can enable or disable the DHCP server. I can specify the starting address I would like to give out and the ending address that I'd like to give out, which means that the pool of available addresses starts with 192.168.0.2 and goes up to 0.3, 0.4, and so on until it gets to 0.254. We also give it a lease time, how long the actual IP address can be kept by the client before it's given back or needs to be renewed. In this case, 3600 corresponds to the number of seconds that this router would give you that IP address before you have to renew it. In addition, they ask for a domain name, and that would be if you were a part of a specific domain, such as at your company. Now, looking over here at my ipconfig output, you can see some of this information coming across. First off, you can see that my IP4 address is 192.168.0.108, which falls inside this range between starting and ending IP addresses. You'll see a subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0, which is actually up here at the top of my screen as part of my LAN settings. In other words, my local area network settings are limited to just the addresses with the same first 24 bits, meaning we can have up to 255 IP addresses, mathematically speaking. So we come back over here, you can see that the lease was obtained January 15th at 2020 around noon, and that expires about 7 days later. And you can see I didn't actually get my IP address from this DHCP server, otherwise it would only be good for 3600 seconds. We also see that the DHCP server has passed on some additional information, such as its IP address, what the IP address of the default gateway is, and what DNS servers are out there to convert IP addresses from domain names. So there's several things that you need available to you in order to configure a DHCP server. Some of them may be found under the DHCP server settings, some of them may be found under the LAN settings, and so on. And in this case of this particular router, here's where we could actually set up our preferred DNS servers themselves. So, in summary, there's basic information you need in order to configure a DHCP server. Most of this comes pre-configured for your home network, but you can get in here and change it around. What it includes is the size of your network, the IP addresses you're willing to give out, how long they're able to keep them for, and some basic information about where to send messages that are leaving the network and how to resolve IP addresses from domain names.